Are you confused to why your caloric intake isn't allowing you to lose the weight that you want, despite sticking to your nutrition plan and religiously weighing out all your calories? Well, in today's video, I'm going to give you the top 3 calorie counting mistakes that you're probably making that's interfering with your weight loss. I'm going to show you how to fix this so you can start dropping the weight that you want to lose. The first common calorie tracking mistake that you're probably making is not tracking your cooking sprays or your cooking oils. Honestly, these can fly really under the radar, and this can be a lot of calories that's not making their way into your calorie tracking app, giving you a misrepresentation of your daily calories, and that can kind of confuse you to why you're not losing weight. It's probably because you're not tracking the oils. If you do use a lot of cooking spray or a lot of cooking oils, most times people don't want to track them because either they just feel like they're immaterial, that they're not going to really add up to too many calories, or really they're just lazy and they don't feel like scanning it and putting it in their tracking app. But I guarantee you that you're definitely missing out on a lot of calories, especially if you're using a lot of heavy oils when you're cooking. Just to further put this into perspective, as you can see here, I'm actually using a PAM cooking spray, and on the back it actually says that half a second of spray, or 0.5 grams, is equal to 15 calories. And you might look at that and think that's not a lot, but what happens is that if you use that multiple times a day, and most people don't spray, most people really coat the pan when they spray it, and they don't really think anything different of it. I know personally when I used a lot of sprays, I would just take the PAM spray and really just coat the pan with it, and that can be a couple seconds. That can even up to 3 grams. And if your cooking spray adds up to 3 grams, and you're doing that multiple times a day, up to 3 times a day, that can be up to 100 calories, and that's basically all coming from fat that you're really not importing into your calorie tracking app, and really, like I said, flying under the radar. My advice here would be to not even use the cooking spray whatsoever. Find a good quality non-stick pan or frying pan and use that instead. You're going to be eliminating a lot of calories that are actually coming from the spray itself. Or if you do want to use the spray, what I would recommend is put your frying pan on your food scale and turn it on, and then spray it while it's on the scale, and then see how many grams that actually is, and then scan the product and put it in that way if you do want to use it. But honestly, a good quality non-stick pan, you shouldn't have to use cooking spray. This also applies to cooking oils like olive oil and canola oil. Just for example, if you are cooking with canola oil, that normally contains anywhere from 80 calories and up for around 2 teaspoons. So if you're really guesstimating that and you're not tracking it and you're planning on using it, what I would do is I would fit that in your macros and really plan on tracking that and really kind of weighing that up and determining how much you're actually using, because this will actually allow you to not be misled when it comes to figuring out why the scale isn't going down and it's actually going up. And if you're tracking it, you'll have a better representation of your total calories at the end of the day. Now, in terms of condiments, a lot of times people don't really track these as well. So if you use ketchup when you're maybe eating fries, or maybe you're barbecuing chicken and you use barbecue sauce, or maybe you just kind of drizzle the salad dressing onto your greens and you prefer eating them with salad dressing. We all basically want our foods to taste better, and like ketchup and barbecue sauce and dressings will do this. But a lot of times people don't even track this, and this can be much worse in terms of calories, even as opposed to oils. And this can be even hundreds of calories that you're not tracking, especially if you do it multiple times a day. So I think that just kind of goes along the lines with what I mentioned before. If you do want to include those things into your meals, budget them in your macros and really account for them, and really make sure that you track them. I guarantee once you start tracking your cooking sprays, cooking oils, and condiments, you'll be surprised how quickly the calories do add up and how much you are actually overeating when you think that you were kind of eating based on your calories. And this will kind of give you a better representation of why you actually might not be losing weight. So that was kind of my first point in terms of just a summary. I would stay definitely away from those sprays and use the non-stick pans. And if you do plan on cooking with oils or condiments, definitely track them in your calories. The second most common calorie tracking mistake that I see people make is not tracking their cheat meals. I'm not saying you should never have a cheat meal, but I think that in terms of tracking them, they can be extremely tricky because you don't really know what's going into the food. And I know personally for me, I've been out to eat many times where I'm just looking at the food and I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to track this. And it can kind of discourage you from tracking it all together. So in terms of approaching this, what I would do is I would find a restaurant that does have the nutritional information on their website, so you're able to kind of have an idea of what you're eating and you're kind of able to import something into your logs. It's better than having nothing. So that would be my advice, is to find something or a restaurant that you still enjoy eating at that you're able to kind of track. However, let's say there is no nutritional information, you still want to go to the restaurant, I would definitely still track it. So my approach here that I would take is that a bad estimate is always better than no estimate at all. So just to kind of further put this into perspective with an example, so let's say you went out to eat and you ate pizza, and the pizza actually contained, let's say 800 calories, and you didn't track it at all. That's 800 calories that you're missing out on, versus if you actually gave kind of an estimate. Let's say you budgeted to be about 700 calories and you put that into your tracking app, then the difference is really only 100 versus that 800 that you didn't track. So from a guesstimating standpoint, it's way better to kind of try to guess the calories versus just not tracking them at all. Another awesome tip when it comes to cheat meals is, instead of going to a restaurant eating out, make your own cheat meal. So maybe it's like nachos that you're craving, or maybe it's pizza that you're craving. Find ways to be able to make that stuff yourself and make it enjoyable to still be able to kind of fight those cravings. But when you're making it yourself, you're able to kind of track it a little bit better, and you're still able to kind of know the ingredients that you're using and what's going into it, making it better from a tracking perspective. Like I mentioned before, still kind of fighting that craving. So that's a little tip that I started doing. I know recently with nachos, one day I was just really craving nachos, and I decided that instead of ordering them from a restaurant, I was going to make my own, and honestly they turned out awesome. So I highly encourage everybody to kind of look up some recipes and figure out different cheat meals that you can incorporate and that you can make yourself. And the final common calorie track mistake that I see people doing is what I like to call guesstimating their portion sizes. And what I mean by that is really they're just kind of like eyeballing things and not properly weighing it out. So to kind of put this into perspective, I want to use the example of peanut butter, just because it's very calorically dense, and I feel like a lot of people are kind of don't take the time to properly weigh it out. They'll just kind of eyeball it, and this can be definitely an issue because 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is 15 grams. It's around 90 calories and it's around 10 grams of fat. And honestly, if you're just kind of eyeballing it and your plan is to lose weight, let's say you kind of eyeball 1 tablespoon and it ends up being 2 tablespoons, that's 90 calories that you're missing out on, and it's very easy to do. Honestly, you would be surprised what 15 grams of peanut butter looks like. And most times you probably are definitely over budgeting it. And if you're putting only 1 tablespoon in when it's actually 2, this can make a big difference. So that's kind of why I like to use the example of peanut butter, because it is something that will make a difference in the long term, especially if you are trying to lose weight. Another good example of how this could actually screw around with your calories is oatmeal. Let's say that you want to eat 1 cup of oatmeal and you kind of just eyeball it and pour it in the bowl without actually properly weighing it out. And let's say that you actually use 1.5 cups. So the difference between 1 cup and that 1.5 cups is anywhere from like 150 to 160 calories, and it can be up to 30 grams of carbs that you're simply not accounting for. That's quite a bit. So I think for terms of things like peanut butter and oatmeal, and there are a lot of different other examples, but I think the bottom line is that no matter what it is, take your tracking seriously and really take the time to actually take the time to weigh things out and track them, instead of just guessing it and actually importing the wrong portion sizes into your food calorie tracking app, because at the end of the day, it's really going to skew your results, and it's going to give you a misrepresentation of what your weight is doing, and you think that you're eating a certain amount of calories when you're really kind of overeating. Alright, so that's the conclusion of today's video on the top 3 common calorie tracking mistakes that I see. And honestly, if you are guilty of these could definitely be the reason to why you are stalling with your weight loss, and you think that you should be losing weight when you're really not. It can be really frustrating that, especially if you think that you're eating a certain amount of calories and the scale is going up versus down. So I highly encourage everybody to take these tips and implement them into their tracking. And I think with anything that you do, eventually you're going to plateau and things are going to become harder, especially for weight loss. I've lost a lot of weight previously, and I know how difficult it can be. So really kind of take the time to really track those calories, and I guarantee you'll see much better results. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I do have a lot of great exciting content that's planned in the works that I'm really excited for sharing with you guys. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also turn on the bell notifications. I do want to make sure you guys get notified every time I drop a new video, which is twice a week now. So if you are new to my channel, I do upload every Sunday and every Wednesday. I did actually conclude the last series that I did was on the short on time workout series. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. But I'll actually be replacing that series with a new series. It's actually going to be called the Versus series. So in that, I'm going to actually be comparing different exercises to kind of go over their benefits and their disadvantages, and kind of which one is better from a muscle building perspective. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also thinking about uploading my frequency to 3 times per week, depending on my schedule. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking for March. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting a new series. I'm going to be planning on uploading every Friday for that. So it's going to be every Sunday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. That Friday upload is actually going to be what I'm going to be calling the Road to pro, and that's going to be a series where I'm basically documenting my journey to the natural bodybuilding stage. I won't be competing again until 2021. I'll share more details with more videos to come, but that's kind of the direction I'm thinking about taking in terms of the YouTube, but I'm really enjoying putting out the content, so I really want to make sure you guys are a part of it, so subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. Also like the video. I really do appreciate it. All your support is definitely appreciated and it goes a long way, so make sure to hit that thumbs up, and I'll catch everybody here next time. All right, peace out.